for tuning in. We're going to jump right into it. Justifying and over-explaining is a clear indication of your poor boundaries. So think about why you are doing it. That is an emotional boundary right there. And good emotional boundaries mean that you refrain from divulging unnecessary info, especially to nosy people and monitoring spirits, because they are all in for the details and the drama of your life so that they can go run tell that. So they can go run to whoever and just regurgitate what they've heard from you. And sometimes they twist it up and it's not truthful. It's not exactly what you said. And it's just a whole mess. So it doesn't need to be done. Keep good emotional boundaries about yourself. You ever been around someone who just gets quiet, and they get quiet in hopes that you'll just keep talking? Like they may ask you something. I really think maybe they go to school or study that shit or something, because they're really good at it. But I've caught on to that. I've caught on to it, and I'm starting to notice that some people will do that. They shut up so that you just keep on talking. But you need to have something for them. You need to shut your mouth as well. Give your answer or your reply and stop right there. Because sometimes, and people even do that on the phone sometimes, they'll ask you something and then strategically get quiet so that you can keep oversharing. And next thing you know, you done shared too much, you done said too much. And then you're feeling bad or regretful, like, dang, maybe I shouldn't have shared that, or, oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. But now that you're aware of it, that it's an emotional boundary, I want you to keep tabs on it. Someone may ask you to do something, or they may ask you to go somewhere, and sometimes you may get into the mode of oversharing, but don't overshare. Sometimes you keep things between you and God, or whoever you choose to keep it between. Everybody does not need to know your business. You got to learn how to keep the replies sometimes, and for certain people, at no or yes. And I mean, you can give them a full sentence. You don't have to just be so very direct and, straight to the point in that way. But you can, share what you feel comfortable sharing without telling them all your business. For example, if someone asks you if you can do this on this particular day, you can just simply say, oh no, I have other plans that day. They make it quiet so that you can continue to overshare. But if you don't want this particular person to know your business, okay, just change the subject. They may even be bold enough to ask you, well, what you got going on? Oh, just something that I had planned. Be very vague. If you don't want people to know, you do not have to give them the details of what is happening. I mean, if you do, that's fine too. But what I'm saying is, don't feel pressured to overshare. Don't feel pressured to overshare when you don't want to. Think about yourself first. What do I want to do? What do I want this person to know? Do I want to share this about me? Do I want my business out there? And if the answer is no, don't do it. Don't be guilted into oversharing. I'm not heavily into the Bible. I want to be, but I'm not heavily into the Bible. But I can quote some verses because I do read. And Proverbs 10:14 says, wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. So basically what that means is the wise don't tell everything they know, but the foolish talk too much, and as a result are ruined. And keep in mind that lying is very different from not sharing. So you may be guilted sometimes into thinking that if you don't share, you're lying. But no, you're just withholding information. And it's a protective mechanism. It protects you. So another thing you can do to protect your emotional boundaries is to only say yes authentically. How many times have you said yes and it wasn't authentic? You said yes because you felt indebted or you felt responsible or however you felt, and you said it, but it was inauthentically. And then what do about it? You complain. That's right. You fuss and complain because you know you really didn't want to do it in the first place. So another good tip is to say yes only when you mean it. Also, pour selectively. Don't water everything. And what that means is you can tell all your business if you want to, but just make sure it's to the right person or the right people. I talked about the core family and core friends in my last video, and those are the people that, if you feel comfortable, they can know your business. Pour only to them selectively. Select who you want to share your business with. Everybody does not need to know. Now, if they were to ask you something, you could say, oh yeah, I have a date at 6 o'clock with this new guy and yada, 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 yada. If you choose, if you feel comfortable telling them. But if you don't want people to know that you're dating, that's fine. I have plans. And that's all they need to know. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes people are going to get mad. Sometimes people are going to get frustrated with you because you're not sharing everything with them. And when they do that, they're monitoring spirit, because guess what? Sometimes I may ask the questions and I feel a vibe when someone doesn't want to overshare with me, or they don't want to share, or they don't want to talk about that. And I stop. Because I'm respectful of that person. I have respect for them. I say, okay, maybe she don't want to tell me all her business, and that's fine. I don't need to know everybody's business. I don't necessarily want to know all the details. If I ask, I want to know, but it's not going to kill me if I don't know. It's not going to make or break me. And guess what? I still love you. I just know that you don't want to share that with me. And you got to watch people who get offended when you don't want to share everything with them, because check their motive. What's their motive? If they think that you should share all of your business with them, then what are they trying to do? Are they just nosy, overly nosy, and that's a problem? Are they looking to run their mouth? Are they a monitoring spirit? Gotta ask yourself these questions now. Another thing is to value peace over validation. Value your peace over other people's validation. So sometimes we may overshare because we're looking to be validated. We want people's approval. It does not matter. Are you okay with it? Have you spoken to your therapist and ran the idea by them? Have you spoke to a life coach and ran the idea by them? Someone who isn't biased? Are you okay with it? Have you spoken to your core people who you trust and have vetted? Either of those things would suffice. But everybody doesn't need to validate your decisions. It's not for everybody. Do you feel comfortable with the decision that you made? Because that's all that matters at the end of the day. And another tip that I want to lay on you is that keep in mind that a person doesn't have to drain you with arguments or fights necessarily. They can also drain you with their lack of acknowledgement. Sometimes people will purposefully fail to acknowledge your decision or your explanation because they want to dig deeper and they want you to give them more answers. And that, my friends, is draining. You might not realize it off bat, but it is very draining. And we talk about draining people a lot in this community, how they come to drain your energy and drain your resources. That's a form of draining your energy right there, because they are trying to bust through your emotional boundary of sharing and divulging only what you feel comfortable with. No, they want you to go further and get uncomfortable to make them satisfied. That ain't right. Don't do it. And the last thing I want to share, because some people need a little bit of help. You might be thinking, well, what do I say? What do I say? Okay, well, here are some boundary setting sentences. The first one is no thank you. Simple. The next one is no. The next one is yes. The next one is I wish I could, but I can't. The next one is I can't do that, but here's what I can do. And then you proceed to tell what you're willing to do or what you feel comfortable with doing, which leads to the next one. I'm not comfortable doing that. Next one is I can't come, but thanks for the invite. Next one is thanks, but I'm not interested. Now, you can say these with a smile. You can say it with a straight face, however you feel like delivering it. Sometimes they're going to get quiet and expect for you to talk more. So that's when you can say, but anyway, how's your day? What's been going on? What's good? Did you see that episode of Housewives? Did you watch Potomac? Change the subject. Or sometimes they may say, why? Because, and then you repeat the question, because I wish I could, but I can't. Now here, the second why might come. But why though? But why not? Why not? And then here's when you could just, girl, I got to go. I got to go. Or you can, and hang up the phone. Or you can say, because. And then hit them with the, I'm not comfortable sharing why, I just don't. So you got to be as bold as people are, as bold as they are to dig and dig and dig and ask why. You got to be bold enough sometimes to tell them why you can't tell them. Because I don't feel comfortable. Because I don't want to. Why are you asking so many questions? Make a joke out of it. What, you work for the feds or something? That's one of my favorite ones. Or one I really like to say, dang, you ask more questions than Jadakiss. Like, why you asking so many questions? Get off my back. What, you a spy? I mean, because all the time people are not trying to be mean-spirited, but at the end of the day, when you put someone in an uncomfortable position, when they don't want to divulge something, at the end of the day, it still is them trying to break down an emotional boundary. And when you let it happen, it's an indication of your poor boundaries. And you can't get mad at anybody but yourself for letting up on your boundaries, because you are in control. It doesn't matter what people say or what people do. Some people might cut you off. Some people might try to beef with you. Well, that's a part of growing up and standing strong in your boundaries. So what, you just supposed to sit back, lay back, and just let them do whatever they want to do? No. Then you're disrespecting yourself. Don't disrespect yourself. Love yourself. Put yourself first. Protect your emotional boundaries. And have clear, strong boundaries in your life. Y'all be safe.